I think we have a very good group. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The time is 6:31. Let the record indicate that a quorum plus an alternate is here tonight and that the agenda has been duly posted. And Alex, did we have anybody sign up for citizens communication?
No, sir.
Okay. So we will move on to consent agenda. And we have one item on there, which I assume nobody wants to pull off for individual consideration. If not, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve the consent agenda, item 3A.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second that.
There's a motion second on the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries unanimously. At this time, we will move on to our regular agenda, item 4A, which is consider and make recommendations to City Council about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, located on the northwest corner of Waco and Village Parkway. Alex.
Thanks very much, Chairman. This is the request, as you stated, is for a site plan for the Latter-day Saints Church that's located on the northwest corner of Waco and Village. This is the aerial image of the subject property, the 8 acres in question. You have the site plan before you. It shows an approximately 21,000 square foot church, the associated elevations, as well as the 300 proposed parking spaces. There is a detention pond on the far south edge of the property, and this request is in conformance with the rezoning request that was approved by City Council back in October. So city staff is recommending approval of this site plan as recommended, as presented. Glad to answer any questions you may have.
Is there a representative from the church here tonight?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to add anything to what Alex said? All right, as we get into discussion, we might have some questions. Thank you.
Alex,
Okay, I'll open it up to commissioners for questions.
Alex, is this any different than what was proposed earlier?
No, there was a slight relocation of the dumpster. Otherwise, no, it's
There's
essentially.
still open spaces on either end, and
Yes, sir.
parking lot hadn't changed, none of that.
No, sir, they added some parking, landscape parking islands per the PD approval.
And we had talked about deceleration lanes and things like that. I don't see these in there. Is that off the table, or where are we with that?
I would defer to the consulting engineer on this one. They are still the civil plans are still under review with TxDOT and city staff. They're not reflective on the site plan, but the applicant can comment on where they are with TxDOT and any warrants for decel lanes for the subject property.
All right, do you have an answer to that?
Sir, can you please step up to the microphone so we can maybe state your name and for the record again, once again?
Thank you. Brian Borough with Bowman Consulting Group, here as the civil engineers on the project. To answer your question, we're working with TxDOT as well as city staff. As of right now, the deceleration lanes will be part of the design, but nothing is, until we go through further comments, we can't, I can't comment whether it's there or not.
So if TxDOT allows it,
Yes,
do you plan on having deceleration lanes and
Yes.
acceleration lanes?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
All right,
Do we need to put that in the recommendation?
it's probably gonna happen.
So I do have a question though. So
Okay.
when you added the islands, did that parking spots? Description says 300 spots, but when I count them all, it's only,
So we're going through some iterations. The last one that we did, we've added an extra row closer to the detention pond on the east side, closer to Village Parkway. So what you see here is going to be evolving as we go through review with city staff.
Other questions, comments, concerns?
Okay, back to what he just said, though. If this is the site plan, this is the site plan, it doesn't change, correct?
Use this microphone. So we are recommending approval of this. We did receive the site plan 30 days ago, and by operation of law, we're presenting the site plan. The recommendations of approval are on the screen before you, and it is subject to engineering review. So to the extent that during the civil review, decel lanes are added or parking is added, that becomes reflective in the plan set. But nothing fundamentally in terms of increased building area, additional structures, or anything more intense to the property can be changed without Planning and Zoning Commission approval.
Such as parking that he said. You just
Right.
added.
Yeah, additional parking to the south end of the site, additional row of parking would be considered a minor deviation that would be approvable through our engineering process.
So based upon what I'm hearing, he's adding 20 parking places that are not reflected in the site plan, is that correct?
So my response is, once we go through city review and it is noted that we require an additional amount of parking spaces, we will do so.
Okay, this is a city review, is it not?
It is, this is a recommendation to the city council to approve.
So do we need to make that part of our conditions on our motion?
I believe the conditions currently there are established with what we'll go through with civil engineering review.
I would concur with that the condition of approval, that this is subject to TxDOT and city engineering review and approval would capture the additional parking.
Okay, but it would not catch the acceleration and deceleration lanes, so we can add that as a,
I believe it would actually be part and parcel of the review by TxDOT, but if you would like to make it expressly an expressed condition of approval so that it's clear and obvious, that's certainly the purview of the commission.
unless TxDOT says no.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else from the commission? I would entertain a motion to approve this item with the two staff recommendations plus adding acceleration and deceleration lanes along Highway 5 as allowed by TxDOT.
So move.
Okay, is there a second?
second.
There's a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Motion carries unanimously. We really appreciate it. We welcome you to town.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
At this time, we will move on to item 4B, which is to make a recommendation to City Council regarding a site plan for a convenience store, which would be a 7-Eleven with fuel pumps at Panther Parkway and Kelly Lane. And this is in our ETJ.
Thanks very much, Chairman. As you stated, this particular item on the agenda, item 4B, is a request for a site plan recommendation to City Council regarding a 7-Eleven. It is located within the Mantua Mud District. Before I begin, I did just want to state that both items 4B and 4C on your agenda this evening are for site plan approval. And effectively what the site plan approval, as we sort of just discussed, is this is a document that ensures compatibility of the site layout with the development agreement that was approved back in 2008. And so, for example, that the land uses are permitted, the parking that's provided is adequate, that the setbacks are satisfied, and so forth and so on. And so I just wanted to be clear that the two items on the agenda are for recommendation approval of the site plans. But before we get into the specific items related and relevant to the site plan consideration is obviously the adjacent roadway, and the other adjacent roadway is Kelly Lane. As you can see here I've pieced together the two site plans, and on the east side of the property, you can see that both site plans are reflective of 45 feet of right-of-way dedication for Kelly Lane. So I just want to take a moment and provide a little bit of information and hopefully clarification on where things stand with Kelly Lane, because last week the city council did consider a few items related to Kelly Lane. The city council did not consider the site plans. Site plans go before the Planning and Zoning Commission prior to going to the city council. And so I want to make sure that it's clear the various and different requests that are being presented before the various bodies. So I'll start with the fact that Kelly Lane, depending on which document, plan, exhibit, plat that you look at, there have historically been variable and different alignments of Kelly Lane. You can see on the far left side, the original 2008 agreement shows Kelly Lane veering off to the southeast. The 2003 comprehensive plan and the master thoroughfare plan within that shows Kelly Lane aligned due south in the current alignment of Kelly Lane. Also, the right-of-way widths and sections have been variable. Last week at City Council, the City Council did approve a formal amendment request to the development agreement, an amendment to the 2008 development agreement that effectively showed Kelly Lane aligned due south along the current alignment of Kelly Lane, and also defined it as a 4-lane divided roadway within that 90 feet of right-of-way. So that amendment did take place and was approved. As a companion item to that, the City Council did also consider a memorandum of understanding from the developer regarding the construction of Kelly Lane. And as you can see on the slide at the top end of this particular page, Kelly Lane, adjacent to the subject property, the 26 acres, has been divided into 3 segments. The developer and applicant at the city council meeting were effectively requesting to allow for the construction of Kelly Lane in 3 segments. And along the bottom part of the slide here, you'll see a current proposal for the construction of 2 additional lanes of concrete adjacent to the urgent care, which is on your agenda this evening, as well as the 7-Eleven site plan. In the midst of discussion at the city council meeting, there was some confusion about whether or not and how many of the 2 existing lanes of asphalt would remain during construction. So the item was tabled, and since that meeting, city staff, our engineers have met with the developer, their engineers, and we've been able to confirm that the proposal on the table that will go to city council next month would be to allow for 2 additional concrete lanes of Kelly Lane to be constructed, while the 2 existing asphalt lanes that are currently there would remain open and functional throughout the construction phase. So ultimately meaning there would be 4 lanes of vehicular traffic adjacent to this property. And furthermore, the applicant will request city council consider that the 2 adjacent segments follow later. So I just wanted to be abundantly clear about the site plans that are on the agenda tonight, the development agreement that was approved, and the memorandum of understanding that's still in consideration.
Let me make sure that I heard it correctly. They're asking to do it in 3 sections. Is it still in 3 sections, or is it down to 2 sections?
3.
3, okay.
The first segment being the far south end, adjacent to the proposed developments that are on your agenda. Any development that occurs north of the urgent care would prompt segment 2, which goes north of Thompson Drive, encompasses the intersection so there can be circulation through to Thompson Drive. And any development north of Thompson Drive would trigger the 3rd and final segment.
So if 7-Eleven comes a year ahead of urgent care, they still have to do the cement through to past urgent care.
Yes, there would be an obligation that segment that's shown in the red box that would extend up to the north of the urgent care, even if the urgent care were not to develop. That's a proposal.
Question, that's dealing with the current plats that we're looking at, or the site plans we're looking at. And then they wanted to continue to build out the road as the land develops. Is there any kind of assurance or any kind of plan as to how they develop the next part of that? Because if they go back and they develop the end on the far north side first, are they gonna leave the gap in the middle, or are they gonna complete both sections at the same time? Or are they gonna develop from south to north in order? Because if they go in there and they develop towards section 3, the far north end first, and they don't do the whole road, that's gonna be a problem.
The memorandum of understanding does include a term that says that the roadway has to remain contiguous,
Okay,
and expressly goes on to state that if you were to get a development at the far north end, it would trigger the construction of the whole road.
that's what I was asking, thank you.
So, Alex, you stated that the asphalt, current asphalt, what about after?
It would remain after construction, as the two northbound lanes, the two new concrete lanes would remain as southbound lanes, and it would remain there if and until property adjacent to it developed, or the county got funding, or it was annexed into the city and the city had funding. But there would be no imminent plans that I'm aware of to improve the east lanes at this time.
So how are you going to move how many feet is that? 300 feet? So you're gonna have, 300 feet of new concrete. Let's say it's 300 feet. So you're gonna have 2 northbound lanes of Kelly Lane for 300 feet. Then you're gonna bottleneck it down to 1 lane when concrete goes away.
Much like on Lincoln Park.
Yeah, except you got a lot more traffic. More traffic.
But that gets you a stack. Okay, Alex, we're sorry to interrupt you.
I just wanted to provide some context to some of the other discussions. In terms of what's on the agenda this evening, and again, those items were pertinent to this discussion, the 7-Eleven it's a 4,800 square foot convenience store, 6 fuel islands, 12 pumps, with 36 parking spaces. Jumping ahead to the next item on your agenda, just to get it out there, the medical office or urgent care is an 8,500 square foot facility with 43 parking spaces. And I will note too, I guess as shown on the earlier exhibit, there is cross access that's required, and you'll see in staff recommendations later that we are recommending that the 7-Eleven be approved amongst other things, with the condition that there is that second point of access out to Henry Hines Expressway be provided, so that there are 2 points of access.
What about turning left off of Kelly Lane into those two businesses?
There would be 2 points of access, one on the urgent care and another on Kelly.
So if I'm going north on Kelly Lane and I want to turn into the 7-Eleven, how do I do that?
You can see there's a black asphalt transition that would be provided to allow for that left turn movement.
So does this still include half a median?
Not quite. It's about 4.5 feet, and we've discussed that. We will have to pick up the remainder of the median with the eastern lanes once they're developed,
Eastern
yes.
side.
But there is the requirement for a curb on the east side of the southbound lanes that would effectively be the edge of the future median.
Except for where the opening when you come across.
Oh, correct, yes, sir.
I don't think one section is going to be enough. I think it needs to be the whole. That's my thoughts.
But that's not what we're here.
As
No,
Alex-
I know, but.
As Alex finished his presentation,
Yes, sir. I mean, with that, I do have slides at the end that have staff recommendations, which are not too dissimilar to the ones in our previous item, subject to engineering, subject to other things, but we can get to that. But those effectively conclude my comments. With the construction of Kelly Lane, however, the city council sees fit to approve it in conjunction with the site plans as you have before you. These site plans do meet the terms of the development agreement. And so with that, I would conclude my comments. Gladly answer any questions. You do have representation from the developer in attendance. And should there be any further discussion, I've got additional slides and aerials if the commission needs to see them.
I do want to ask, so can you get the other slide? Okay, so you're going to have. They're going to put in a temporary construction equipment while they're building.
And with Tinsley Meadow, we did have a routing plan for construction traffic. I'll let the developer discuss sequencing and circulation of construction traffic. I'm just not aware of what the intent is.
Okay, all right.
One more question on the median. If they only have to put in 4.5 feet and it's scheduled for 17 feet, who's responsible for the rest of that?
The eastern adjacent property,
So they're going to have to put up for more than half the median.
yes, sir, and that's a great point. It's a function of the situation we're in, but yes, sir, and we've sort of started toiling in some of the details about lighting and landscaping and other features like that. Those are going to be significant considerations that need to be made, but yes, sir.
Okay. Let's get the question that was asked over here by the representative of the developer here. Are they? Okay. Please state name and who you're with.
Tom Coppin with Kimley Horn and Associates. We're representing the urgent care property.
Okay,
And Erwin Gama with Guggenheim Development Services, representing the developer for 7-Eleven.
okay. And the question was asked, which the development that was north of this, we required to put in the entrance to that subdivision from the service road before the development, and that was clearly marked as a construction entrance. And I would imagine that that's going to be made as a recommendation tonight. Is that an issue?
That's acceptable. As you've seen out there over the last few months, there's been sewer infrastructure being put in the ground. Obviously, the detention basin to the south has been constructed in preparation for these improvements, and access for all of that work was off of the frontage road.
Okay, thank you. Open up to commissioners for other questions, comments. All right, we have staff making 4 recommendations, which are pretty standard: approval of civil engineering plans, receipt, review, and approval of road plans for Kelly, a second point of access on 75, and approval of a plat subject to property and adjacent detention pond, including easement and right-of-way dedication necessary for development, and a 5th one that would be added to that in our motion, I would assume, would be that that it have a clearly marked construction entrance off of 75. With that, would somebody like to make a motion?
Move to recommend then we, to the city council to approve with the staff recommendations and the addition that we have a construction entrance clearly labeled and installed before they begin vertical construction.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, there's a second at the other end of the table. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstain? Motion carries 4-1-0. And that is that on that one, and we will move on to item 4C, which is the same location and the urgent care. And I think, Alex, you've already said what you want to say on that one, correct? And we would have the same 4 recommendations from staff plus the one
There's
from,
slightly different recommendations just based
Okay.
on the location, but
okay, then let me move down to. So there would be a staff recommendations of approval of the civil engineering, receipt and review of road plans for Kelly, and approval of plat subject property, including easement and right-of-way dedication necessary for the development, and one added by commission would be the construction entrance. Is there any further discussion on this item? I'll entertain a motion that to approve this with the 3 staff recommendations plus the recommendation from commission that has construction entrance.
I recommend that we make a motion to approve, or recommend the city council we approve with the 3 staff recommendations.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Any abstain? Motion carries 4-1-0. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, and we're on to commission and staff comments. Alex?
thank you, Chairman. I don't have many comments to make this evening. It is the intention of city staff to bring a draft of the comprehensive plan to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting at your next regularly scheduled meeting. So we will continue to work on that. Otherwise, I think that pretty much concludes any comments I may have.
Okay, I have a couple. One, audience and commission and anybody in hearing distance, there is a meeting on March 9th at 12 noon that will be at the South Campus. That is TxDOT to talk about our intersection. Do I need to define what I'm talking about by intersection? Okay, and I think we really need to have a good turnout, so invite your neighbors, friends, puppy dogs. You can bring your lunch with you. Do whatever you can to get there. There is also a link on the city's Facebook for a survey that TxDOT is doing that is about bike trails, and so you might feel
What time is it?
there's a presentation.
Noon.
That's at noon,
Noon.
yes. And they say you can bring your sack lunch or whatever. And let's see, and one other thing is, I talked to Alex about it and like to put it on public record that we start adding to our agenda each month, some preliminary planning on our overlays, getting ready for, we don't want to approve anything before our comprehensive plan is finished, but we can get a head start, and with commission's approval, I'd like to direct our planning department to start that process to where we put in 30 or 45 minutes at each meeting. And I think the thing to start with is downtown and work our way out for all the overlays that we have. Is that agreeable to everybody? Okay. I will now open it up to any other commissioner for any closing comments.
Well, that was at the South Grayson campus?
Yes. Hearing none, you can in about 2 minutes. Okay. At this time, I will declare this meeting adjourned at 7 o'clock. That's nice round timing.